了，都让
岁呀！我怎么不听啊？你们不着急啊？管人们什么家属呢
？Our thoughts and prayers are with the bereaved families affected.
For weeks, the big story has been the missing Malaysia
Now,
airline.
it's been 10 years since Malaysian flight MH370 went missing, with 239
Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 is well into its second.
On March 8th, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing. On board were 239 people, a mix of passengers and crew, all unaware they were about to become part of one of aviation's greatest and most perplexing mysteries. Just 38 minutes into the flight, everything went dark. The plane vanished from air traffic control screens, and its last known words were routine "Good night, Malaysian 370. In a world of satellites and advanced technology, how could a jumbo jet, a Boeing 777, simply disappear? This isn't just a story of a plane crash. It's a tale of an unsolved puzzle that has haunted families and baffled investigators for over a decade. Let's lay out what we know. The weather was clear. The flight was routine. But after its last radio contact, the plane's transponder and ACAR's communication systems were deliberately turned off. This wasn't a sudden mechanical failure. It was a deliberate act. The plane then veered off its planned northern route and turned sharply southwest over the Malaysian peninsula. Military radar tracked it for a short time before it flew into a blind spot. What happened next is a story told by faint, automated pings. The plane satellite data unit continued to communicate with satellite, sending out what are known as handshakes for over 7 hours after it disappeared from radar. These signals indicated the plane was flying south, deep into the remote and unforgiving expanse of the southern Indian Ocean. For years, massive search operations scoured this vast area, an area known as the Seventh Arcade, but found nothing. It was only in 2015 that the first piece of confirmed debris, a flapper from a wing, washed ashore on Reunion Island, thousands of miles from the search zone. Over 20 more pieces of wreckage were later found, confirming the plane's final fate was a crash, but not explaining how or why. The mystery of MH370 is driven by a series of unsettling questions. Why were the communication systems turned off? Why the sudden change in direction? And who was in control? These questions have given rise to several prominent theories. The most widely accepted theory, and the one favored by many investigators, is pilot suicide. This theory suggests that the captain, Zahari Ahmad Shah, intentionally took control of the aircraft, depressurized the cabin to incapacitate the passengers and crew, and then flew the plane until it ran out of fuel, crashing it into the ocean. Evidence for this includes a similar flight path found on his home flight simulator. This theory, while difficult to prove definitively, explains a deliberate silence and a course change. Another theory points to a catastrophic mechanical failure or an onboard fire. This suggests that an electrical fault or a fire in the cockpit may have incapacitated the crew, and the plane then continued to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. However, critics of this theory argue that a distress call would have been made if the crew were conscious for even a short period after the incident began. A third, more speculative theory involves a hijacking or a criminal act. Some suggest that one of the passengers or someone in the cockpit could have hijacked the plane. The motivations for this are unknown, but remains a possibility that has been considered. A decade has passed, and still, the truth remains submerged beneath the waves. While some debris has been found and a consensus has formed among some experts, the full story of what happened on that fateful night is still a mystery. The families of the 239 people on board continue to demand answers, clinging to hope that a new search operation might finally uncover the truth. So we are left with the same question we started with. How could a modern airliner with 239 souls on board simply vanish without a trace? Was it a tragic human act, a terrifying mechanical accident, or something else entirely? The mystery of MH370 remains one of the most enduring and chilling questions of our time.